And also, well, so she graduated way before I did college. She graduated UCLA, and I remember she moved to Palms, which, being from Glendale, we thought Palms was the hood. And I remember hearing fires, like sirens at night when I was sleeping over her house and thinking she was in a terrible neighborhood. But I still thought she was a weakling back then. But it wasn't until she became a lawyer years later when she became really tough and kind of scary. So
Scary?
yeah, I mean not scary, but she definitely wasn't a weakling anymore. She's kind of like this lawyer lady who like
Strong.
covers her butt.
Okay.
You know?
Do you remember when you and her both started school?
Yeah,
Like preschool? At Keppel?
we never went to preschool.
I mean kinder at Keppel?
Yeah, we went to kindergarten. I remember Papa taking us there. And so for some reason, I remember wondering why he spelled my name as Norn rather than Nong.
But
To
this
the
was like
register.
afterwards.
I don't know if it was at the time or afterwards, but I do remember him taking us there. And I remember seeing the restroom sign, wondering what that was, because I thought it was a room you rested in, not the bathroom. And I remember,
Did you guys speak English when you started school?
I guess, I don't know, I feel like we must have, but I heard that we were speaking Thai to each other in kindergarten.
So you don't remember any miscommunication while you were
No.
first year at school?
I really don't remember that, because I remember Jack telling the story that he couldn't speak English, and
I
it
couldn't
was
speak English.
really
Rafa
terrible.
couldn't speak English.
And was it terrible?
I guess by the time you started kinder, all of us older kids were already speaking English at home.
That
And
might have
so
been
you,
it.
You might have already, if you didn't speak it, then at least you understood it.
I think we understood it, and I think actually you guys might have taught us our letters even before we went to kindergarten. Because I think I remember being able to read stuff, but I mean, I might be wrong. But I remember Mr. Morris doing this to me and Nudie, telling us, that was the principal at Keppel, telling us to go somewhere.
You and Nudie, just you and Nudie?
It was just me and Nudie. He just wanted us to go somewhere. And I think I remember them putting us in different rooms and maybe taking a test or something.
About twins?
No, it was
Oh.
just when we started. It was like
An aptitude test?
yeah, something like that. With like blocks and stuff. I sort of remember that, but we were put in the same kindergarten class,
Yep.
and that was the only class we ever shared. Everything else they separated us.
Do you remember hearing or meeting any of our Chinese grandparents?
No, I sort of maybe remember.
Do you remember even hearing about people talking about them?
I think I remember them sending these really beautiful dresses, this like white dress and a pink dress over or something.
Chinese style?
No, I mean it was a Western style dress, but you could tell it was probably made in China.
How old were you?
7 or something, 7 or 8.
Do you remember Papa or Mama ever talking about our Chinese grandparents?
I always got the impression that Papa really loved his mother very much. Early on, I mean, I didn't know anything, but I mean, I found out later that Grandpa was in a nursing home in Hong Kong, and he drank whiskey every day or something that was part of his medicine. And
What about Grandma?
Grandma, I think, died earlier.
Why did you get the impression that Papa especially loved his mother a lot?
I feel like Papa must have said that. I don't know. I always felt like he acted like she was like an angel or something, or I don't know. I always felt like I don't know. I don't know why I got that impression, but I felt like he really loved his mother. Because I never felt like Mama really loved her mother that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think, and I don't know how she felt about Grandpa, but
What do you remember about Kunyai?
she wasn't like your typical grandma. Like she wasn't like really in love with her grandchildren or anything. She kind of just lived in her house, and she cooked really, really good food. Like
Do you remember what she used to cook?
she used to cook gabi, which is that fish paste.
Nampikapi.
Nampik gabi, and she used to cook really good tom yum. and and then I remember when we would come home from school, she tried to be American once and made us hamburgers, which was like this really weird version of a hamburger.
Her version of a hamburger?
Yeah. But I do remember her getting really mad at me once because she had like her beauty bag or something in the bathroom, and I totally went through it, like not even thinking about it, and I think I took everything out of it or something, and it was in the bathroom, and then she came in, and all of us were playing in her room. She's like, "Who went through my beauty bag and who did it?" And I totally didn't say anything.
She never found out?
She never found out, but I remember her being really mad. And
how old were you?
I don't know, 6, 7, something like that. It was at the Bruce house, I think. And I remember both of them moving into our house at the Bruce house.
Yep.
And they moved into what was the family room, and Papa built a wall.
Yep.
This horrible fake wood paneled wall, and
their room was like cluttered with stuff.
Well, they had the fireplace, and I remember she wanted to share a bed with Grandpa or something, and he didn't, or I don't know. She was acting like some kind of schoolgirl. I remember she wanted to share the bedroom with him or something. But I do remember she has this like nightstand that was this metal thing, and it had these levels on it, and each level was like a Thai novel. It looked like maybe a romance novel she read over and over.
She had tons of books.
All the books always had like these painted flowers on them.
Yeah, I remember
and stuff. And I don't know what they were about, but
they had book covers.
Yeah, book covers.
Flowers,
I always assumed they were romance novels.
I think they were.
I have no idea, but I feel like she probably reread those.
She had tons.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that myself. I have a whole bunch of old books next to my bed.
Would you talk to her? Would you ever like converse with her?
Not really. There was a real language barrier, I think, because she was very Thai, and me and Nudie didn't speak Thai that much.
Was Grandpa living with us when he died, or was he in Thailand?
I think he was in Thailand and died with his second wife by his side.
Did Mama ever talk about or give you any information about that family?
I always felt that she really hated them. And I actually, in her interview, she didn't even want to talk about them.
Okay.
So, I don't know what that whole situation was.
What
I mean, I don't think polygamy is necessarily legal.
But it's common.
But it's done.
What can you say about Kunta? What do you remember about Kunta?
I remember, the first memory I remember of him was when everybody got chicken pox.
Yeah,
and
we were at the Grainold house.
Yeah, and he was there, and he took all of our pulses. I remember that was like his way of diagnosing us all, was taking our pulses.
Even though everybody knew we already had the chicken pox.
Yeah, and he was very silent when he did it, and because he was a doctor, and so I remember that, and then the other thing I remember about him was he had this car. He had like this giant Chevy Nova or something that he bought.
Uh-huh.
And I think that might have been in like 6th grade or 7th grade or something, and he was going to pick me up from school. I asked him to because nobody else could.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but I was a little ashamed of this car because it was like a big car from, from the 70s or something.
Yeah.
And I told him it was a station wagon, which actually I would like to have that car now, because now I think that car is really cool. But back then I thought it was really embarrassing and junky, and I think and he bought it with his own money, and he never used it, but he was kind of proud of it, I think, and then he didn't need to pick me up anymore, and so I told Natha that. And I remember Natha saying, "You better have him pick you up. He's been looking forward to this. He like took the car out. He's like getting all ready for it. You better have him pick you up."
So he did.
So he did. But I remember that car smelled like,
old person?
A 1970s car. It was huge.
Do you remember? Let's start with Papa. Do you remember Papa ever talking about his youth?
No, I didn't find out about his youth until I interviewed him for this.
What about Mama? Did she ever talk about her youth?
They never talked about anything. What did they talk about? I don't know. like I always felt like they were talking about bills and
Money,
and not having enough money.
responsibilities.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even remember like ever having a talk about having to have good grades or being self-sufficient. Or I felt like I must have gotten all that information from you and Natha, because I don't remember them